one thing, that flip could have gone horribly wrong. And in a lot of ways, it did. Yeah. Had I stopped and not said, hey, look, I'm going to do this again, and now I know what not to do. A lot of people get into this business and they think it's going to be like HGTV, right? It's not.
Yeah,
I promise you it's not.
Yeah.
It's not at all.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. This is Andre Beraud, and welcome to the Yes to Real Estate podcast. Super excited to have you here today. And let me tell you, we have an amazing guest today. And wherever you are, if you're on a plane, or you are at your yacht, shout out to all the people on yachts, or you're at home, you want to stay tuned for what we have in store for you. Okay? So this young lady we have coming to the stage in front of the millions of people who's watching and listening, that include you, right? She's truly amazing at what she does. She's kind, she's sweet. She have intellectual property on how to get you the money, right? And this week we're talking about fix and flip. So we begin to think, if we're going to talk about fix and flip, why not bring in the best in the business? Let me hear you say the best in the business. Yes. Because if someone would have said something, then everybody would know it's people behind us, right? But the best in the business, the best in the business. This young lady is doing amazing things when it comes to finding you the money. She has a knowledge of doing it herself, and I tell the millions of people this: if you have someone teaching you something or sharing the intellectual property, the first thing I ask them is, are you doing it? That's always the social proof. Is after someone tell you something, you ask them, are you doing it? And then the next question is, are you successful in it? Right? Because I don't need you passing on bad information that's going to lose me money, right? So without further ado, in front of the millions of people who's watching, I would like to introduce you to the one and only Sidni Campbell with FlipCo Financial. How are you, Sidni?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm great.
Yes, you like that intro?
I love it. I'm like, I can't wait till this is released so that, anytime I'm like having a bad day or something, I can just go back and play it and,
Yes.
Got my mentor hyping me up.
Yes. Sidni, in front of the millions of people who's watching and listening, I love what you're doing. The community of Yes to Real Estate loves what you're doing. And one thing I always like to do is kind of give the people the history of how we met. Because I believe that if you tell them kind of like the history and where you're coming from, then they can understand you a little better. So
we're going to bring it back.
Yes, we're going to take it back.
We're going to bring it back,
y'all.
Yeah. Okay, so we met, what was this, maybe 3 years ago? No.
2?
2 years ago. We met 2 years ago. I was doing a flip.
Mm-hmm.
So just rewind a little bit further back. I had inherited some property, and I was not the only heir to the property that I inherited. It was me and my mother and my brother. And I wanted to hold on to it. Mm-hmm. Didn't end up working out that way. After the sale of everything and I got the cash coming my way, I decided to just dip. I went to Ghana for 6 months, and then I realized that I love traveling so much that I needed to provide a way for myself to travel and have income coming in and do what I wanted to do. So I decided to get into flipping.
Yes.
Was in the middle of tackling my first flip. Mm-hmm. So much stuff was going wrong, but midway through my flip, I ended up getting hired at FlipCo Financial.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to FlipCo.
Yeah. Got hired at FlipCo, and my VP, she had brought your name up during my interview. My first time meeting her, I told her about my goals with real estate investing. I told her how important it was for me to be able to give back to my community the things that I didn't get during, my time with getting my inheritance. And it's really important to me to educate people on how to keep their assets, keep their property, you know? And she was like, oh my gosh, you need to meet Andre from Yes to Real Estate. He's a client here at FlipCo. You were assigned to a different account manager at the time. And that was the end of it. I ended up getting hired. And 6 months later, I'm still like going through my flip. And I ended up getting assigned to you as an account manager. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty hands-on with my clients. I was like, we got to meet. So you ended up letting me come by your flip first. So it was a flip that you were in the middle of. Yeah. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then you ended up saying, what are you working on? Took you to my flip and let you know that there were some issues I was having with my contractors.
Yeah.
The realtor that I was working with at the time was not an investor-friendly agent and was very hands-off. Let me tell you, very hands-off. You guys that know Andre, do not assume that this is what you get working with everybody. Let me just put that out there.
Thank you for saying. And I did not pay Sidni to say that.
No, everything here is 100% raw and real. That's what you're going to get from us today. Take some notes. But you walked me through and you actually pointed out so much about my project and like things that I needed to follow up with my contractors on. I first flip had no construction background. And so, you know, you and your experience and being like, hey, look, the tape and float in here is off. Have you tested the swell in the bathrooms? And I'm like, the swell, what? The swell. You're like, this is how you make sure that water is not pooling, you know, in the area and all these things. And then I realized in that moment, I am working with the wrong person. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, you were doing all this just investor to investor, showing me the ropes. And so I really appreciated that. And when it came time to list it, because you had done so much free work and mentorship. Look, I threw mentor out there. I made you my mentor. I made you my mentor. I didn't even ask, hey, look. It was all right. You coming with me? I'm coming with you. So you ended up listing it. And honestly, once I realized I was in the red, I was going to be in the red. Lucky for me, I met you at this time, and also the way that the market was shifting during that time. Because if it would have stayed that way, I would have been out probably $10,000. But, you know, God was on my side through that, and we were able to make some money for that flip. And you got under contract so quick.
And you know, I tell people this, that some people are quick to try to charge people for mentorship, right? But you don't have the social proof yourself. And I knew that when we met that I wanted to add value to you. So I came out to the property, looked at it, and had some ideas to make it better. Not knowing that eventually you was going to use me as your agent. I just wanted you to win. And so for the millions of people who's watching and listening, if you don't have people in your corner who want you to win, you're around the wrong group of people. And with Sidni, Sidni and myself, we just began to sharpen each other and encouraging each other. We both want each other to win, and that's what established this relationship today.
Yeah, and then I'll even add this for you guys. You guys can call Andre your mentor. Like, if you can be in a different state right now, and if you're listening to his podcast and you've been learning from him, like, there's a bunch of people that I look up to and I respect them so much, and I have not even met them from personal development all the way into like the real estate industry that I'm in, and they are my mentors. They have helped me through this. Sometimes it's hard to find that community of people that are doing things that are like-minded, right? And especially starting out in something that's so new, real estate investing or whatever it is. The people that you're surrounding yourself with might not be in that same field, but it's so important to surround yourself with those people and to build those relationships. And it doesn't always have to be like face-to-face. So 100%. Like, that's why I'm like, Andre is my mentor. I am following him on Instagram. I am learning. You provide so much value. You know?
And when you speak about mentorship, you know, I think of team, right? So shout out to my lovely wife, Joanne Beraud, my son, Chase, my daughter, Skylar. I love you guys. Thank you for what you do for the brand and the business. And then the team itself of Diamond, who's our transaction coordinator, and our GC for new construction, and Ashley, who's our GC for new construction and also for flips. And then our marketing team, such as CC Network, right? The community that we have here who holds our yearly event with hundreds of people come out, right? And then you have Mad Production with Brittany and Gerald, and the owner of CC Network is Jazz, right? The whole team is what makes things move. What also makes things move is partnership. The partnership that I have with you and FlipCo. FlipCo is truly amazing. And for the millions of people who's out there listening, FlipCo is the company that we use to fund our fix and flips. And they are the exclusive sponsors of the Yes to Real Estate Fix and Flip course. Super excited to partnership with them. So Sidni, who is FlipCo? What can you tell us about FlipCo and the millions of people watching and listening?
You guys, I love FlipCo.
Me too.
I'm pretty sure I sound so biased right now, but I actually found FlipCo as an investor, which is interesting. I was not looking for a job when I found FlipCo. For the flip that you helped me with, I got that financed through a different hard money lender. And I actually found them while I was out of the country. So I'm like, I don't know if it was the VPN. Like, how did I not stumble upon FlipCo? But whatever the case, I did not like my experience with the first hard money lender. They charged me for an appraisal fee. There was an inspection, had to do a survey. I could not close that fast. I think it took me over 2 weeks to close. And it was also at the time that I contracted my flip, we were in a market where we're like competing with hedge funds. We're competing with people that have like 200,000-300,000 cash to just be like, I'll close tomorrow. You know what I mean? So looking for my first project was hard enough because I didn't have that amount of cash to just go drop in. I didn't want to, like doing something new. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. That's a huge like risk. Yeah. So the lender that I initially used, it was not my jam. There were a ton of fees. And after I finished my flip, I was like, you know what? Like, one thing, that flip could have gone horribly wrong. And in a lot of ways, it did. Yeah. Had I stopped and not said, hey, look, I'm going to do this again, and now I know what not to do. A lot of people get into this business and they think it's going to be like HGTV, right? Mm-hmm. It's not.
Yeah,
I promise you it's not.
Yeah.
It's not at all.
Yeah.
But there was so much to learn, and in deciding to venture out and do it again, I was looking for another hard money lender. The VP of FlipCo actually followed me, and I'm very like proactive and wanting to really like form relationships on my business page. So having conversations with people. So I reached out to her and I'm asking her about, FlipCo, and I'm looking at their page. I'm looking how they're like advertising no junk fees, no appraisal, no credit check, no inspection, 48-hour funding. And I'm like, this is all the things that I did not find with hard money lenders before. So I'm like, okay, here we have another scam.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because a lot of my clients are like, this sounds too good to be true. And I'm like, oh, I know it. Just try us out, But I ended up going in for an interview and left with the job. So, I was thinking I was going to find another hard money lender for myself. And ever since then, I've been working for them. And it has taken me away from my own real estate investing. But I'm so passionate about what I do now. And, it's like a pivot for me. I'm in that space in time where I feel like God is wanting me to pour into other people and I'm learning in the process. Yeah. And one thing I love about FlipCo is that it's for investors and it's also by investors. A lot of us at FlipCo are investing, whether it's fix and flips, wholesaling, multifamily syndication. Our VP she's a serial entrepreneur. She owns a lot of businesses and has so much experience. And so it's equipped us to be able to go out and pour into the people that we serve. Mm-hmm. We have that kind of experience as investors. So that's my rant about FlipCo.
Yes, no. FlipCo is amazing. I met Kayla she was one of the speakers at the Yes to Real Estate field trip, all women's panel. Mm-hmm. She came out and spoke and did an amazing job, and we built rapport, right? So now, because of Sidni and FlipCo, you guys are doing this sponsorship with FlipCo, right? Can you tell the millions of people about why this sponsorship and what make FlipCo different with this?
This sponsorship is huge. So it came at such a great time. You guys have always been, Yes to Real Estate, and the brand has always been about community. It's always been about pouring in, giving value, and FlipCo is aligned. Like, we're all about transparency. Yeah. We're all about pouring into the people that we serve and equipping them to go out there and be better investors. So whenever you guys came to us with the idea of this cohort, this mentorship, it was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, this is exactly like where we're wanting to go right now. Got us at the right time, right moment, everything. So the sponsorship between FlipCo and Yes to Real Estate and doing this cohort is allowing us to come together with all of the knowledge that we both have and to pour into a group of investors. It's intimate. We're able to spend a lot of time with the people that are involved with helping them from start to finish on finding a deal, finding not only a deal, the right deal.
Yes.
I got to say that because the one that I got into, I do not feel like that was the like right deal for me at the time, you know.
So let me ask you this: Why don't you think it was the right deal?
So it was purchased from a wholesaler, and I didn't even know that until after the fact. And that's not a problem. I have nothing against working with wholesalers. I work with a lot of wholesalers, great wholesalers. I didn't really understand like the lingo, but I say it wasn't the right deal. I do feel that it was purchased too high. It was purchased too high, and it's funny because I told my realtor at the time that I only wanted to make $10,000. I was like, I only make $10,000 on this flip, and I'm gonna be great. Yeah. I'm laughing at that for the people who are like $10,000. That sounds great. Okay, it does sound great until you are trying to raise the ceiling in your home to add more value and make it look better, and you realize that there was a kitchen fire that you could not see until you actually got past the sheetrock. And it's, $10,000 is great until you realize that it's an extra $6,000 to reframe that ceiling. So when I say it wasn't a good deal, there wasn't enough due diligence done, and I didn't know enough about $10,000 is like every investor needs to know how much they want to make, right? Getting into it, because that's gonna, you might say you want to make $50,000 minimum on a deal. I might say I want to make 20, 30, like 30. Honestly, 30, like I'm looking at it, I'm interested. My other mentor, Pace Morby with the Sub 2 community, he's not touching anything that's at $20,000. You know what I mean? He's wholesaling and assigning contracts at like $100,000. So every investor has to figure out what works for them. I will say I do not think y'all need to be getting into it with $10,000 is enough for a flip. There's like way too many factors and things that could go wrong. The market changing, for interest rates rising, things like that. If you have a contingency in your rehab, I did not. So I didn't have any contingency. That $10,000 was going into my profit. Now I made about $10,000 by the grace of God. And yes, real estate, and the market shifting. So,
I tell people when it comes to fix and flip, people who buy right, eat right, right? You make your money on the purchase end. And sometimes we tend to buy too high, and then the rehab always go over budget. I don't care what anybody say, always go over budget. Then now on the back end, you trying to sell it for twice as much of what it's really worth. And now it's on the market, you're eating up costs and things like that. So, Sidni, why do you believe people should do fix and flip? Well, what makes that a great opportunity to create wealth?
And, this is a great question, because a lot of my clients at FlipCo are, our bread and butter is financing fix and flips. Now, can we help you, and does our product work for other strategies? Absolutely. But one of the first questions I ask is what's making you get into real estate? What's your end goal with getting into real estate investing? And, people give a lot of different answers. For example, mine is buy and hold. Like I said, initially, I got into this wanting to have the rental income coming in and me being able to live my life how I want to and travel the whole nine, right? I don't have to do that with just doing fix and flips. I've learned about other ways of doing buy and holds and creative financing as a newbie without having to show HUD statements for experience and all that. So fix and flips serve its purpose, and I am excited. I'm ready to get back into it as well. But why would someone want to do fix and flips? Well, all of the people that are following you for new construction now, fix and flips is a great place to start. In fact, it's going to be extremely difficult for you guys to go and get a new construction deal financed without having those HUD statements to back it up. And you'll likely need HUD statements for new construction, because that's a whole different ballgame. But to be able to go to a private money lender, a conventional bank, or even a hard money lender and say that you have, that kind of experience is great. Now, I will say FlipCo does not require that you have any experience. So for everybody who's wanting to get into this, you're ready for something new, whether it's you want to live a lifestyle like I'm describing and travel and have that rental income coming in. If you want to supplement your existing salary or, finances, or, hey, whatever the case is, fix and flip is a great way to get into real estate. Yes. Just know it's not like HGTV.
No, definitely not.
Which you do a great job of actually showing that. Yeah. You give the raw and the real, unedited, uncut. You're on Facebook showing what it's like in the day in the life of a real estate investor.
No, I love doing that. especially with the fix and flip, because people have the misunderstanding that you can get into a fix and flip and you're going to make money, right? When it comes to fix and flip, partnership is crucial, right? You might have a partner who can get the money to put enough down for FlipCo, or you might have a partner who come and bring the deal, right? I would say having the intellectual property when it comes to fix and flip, the plumbers, the electrician, the connections, the know-how, like to go into a home where it's look horrible and begin to Mona Lisa it, right? And to have a team to help you with that. You said something so crucial. What make FlipCo amazing is that you need no experience to work with FlipCo.
Yeah.
Right? Well, why is that?
So our product and how it's structured, we're a minimal dot collection firm. We have very lenient guidelines for getting into it, and it is to allow and empower people to get into real estate investing. So like I said, we're for investors and by investors, and as investors, we know the struggles of working with hard money, and we know about those junk fees, and we know what it's like to feel like you're just a number, you're just a sale for another loan officer. I was one of those. I was just a number for another loan officer, and that's why I spend a lot of time working with my new investors as well, or people that are just newer to hard money, asking the right questions, and regardless of what lender you're using, and being able to peep if they are interested in getting to know about you and what your goals are so that they can make sure that they have the best product for you is really important. So we have our product the way that it is because we're excited about going out there and creating great investors and empowering investors to scale their real estate business. Something you asked about as well is why get into fix and flip. Well, getting into real estate investing in general, you have to realize you're working with the government. And there's so many benefits to that. I believe his name's Thomas Woolwright. Forgive me if I'm wrong, Arthur. But he has a book called The Win-Win Wealth Strategy, and it's got a lot of tax benefits, and it's teaching you about investing and how to work with the government. And I would say that's another great reason to get involved into real estate is because it's different. Everybody working a 9-to-5 or having a W-2 job is you're kind of working for, you're paying a lot of taxes to the government. But if you can figure out how you can work with them on something that's important to them, then there's so many benefits in doing that. People wonder how the rich are rich, right? And wanting to get there, well, kind of partnering with the people that are in charge, seeing what is important to them, schools, politics, home, everybody's going to need a home,
Absolutely.
The medical field, there's a lot of benefits working in the medical field too, but your real estate, I say, is safe if you can go out there, find communities to plug into that have that kind of knowledge, and you can make safe, calculated risk. It's investing. It's a risk. And every investor has failed. It's like your rite of passage. You know what I mean? But being able to get back on the horse and continue and learn from your mistakes, and then it's even more of a solid if you can go out there and tell us what they are, so that the rest of your community knows not to do that. But it's huge.
No, to your last remark, going back to the community, so they won't make the same challenges. We have the Yes to Real Estate Fix and Flip course, right? So, what if, Sidni, you have someone who said, "Hey, Sidni, I want to work with FlipCo. I love what you guys are doing, but yet I don't have the intellectual property. I want to get some mentorship and some training." What can they do to help minimize their challenges when it comes to fix and flip?
Well, one, you can join our cohort, and then you're not in
Come
this
on
alone.
Come on now for the millions of people watching.
Alone,
Tell them about it.
So we're literally, we have, is it 4 modules?
Yes.
Okay, we've got 4 modules over the course of the next 4 months. And it's not too late to join. So you guys can hop in at any time. I'm more than happy to catch you up to speed with what you've missed. But I just think it's really great, honestly, that we're doing this. So I'm not trying to be too salesy on you guys, but reach out to one of us. We'll let you know all there is to know about what you'll be going through, what you'll be learning. But we're teaching you guys about how to find a property, how to get your property financed, and even backing up. It's so much that I can't even really cover it in this time that we have here. But finding the right property, like I said before, doing your due diligence, knowing what to look out for when you're, looking at contracting a property, how to properly contract that property.
Yeah.
We've had, you and I, we've had some investors make some mistakes.
Yes.
Boy, I tell you.
Yes. For the millions of people watching, yes, we have. Yes.
Like our clients that were mutually taking on together, and people who don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help, because that's always what it comes down to. It's always when like people are trying to do stuff on their own, trying to cut corners, and it just does not go well. We are here to help you. You got people that are willing to pour into you for the free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, the mentorship is a different story. That is a paid course, but we've spent so much time putting this together for you guys, and it's important. It's important. So, but we're going over contracting the property, financing the property, how to move through your rehab, how to budget properly, and even how to like understand the market that you're in, and where the projections, so that you can make the best decisions as an investor. And the whole goal is that after this, you should feel empowered to go out there, find your property, and start flipping.
Yes.
Start flipping. So basically, you're walking through 2 properties with Andre and I, and from start to finish, like you're going through the rehab and everything. So I think that's crucial. I wish that I had that before I did my first flip. And I'm super excited for these investors to graduate and to go out there and empower other investors to do the same thing. Yeah,
absolutely. So just to give you an example of what Sidni, I, and Ashley will be discussing with the Yes to Real Estate Fix and Flip course is, for example, we paid $60,000 for a home. Ashley found the home. Shout out to Ashley. She's amazing at what she does, right?
The GOAT.
The GOAT. And our rehab was for 65, right? Mm-hmm. That's our rehab. But remember what we said earlier. Your rehab budget, you will always go over. And remember also, we talked about when you buy right, you eat right, right? Shout out to all my vegans out there. We got 2 behind us. See you guys. But when you buy right, you eat right, right? So we realized that, hey, we got it at a good price of 60, 65 of our budget. Well, our budget now is $75,000, right? So do we panic? Do we make irrational decisions? No, because we planned for this, right? Because now on the back end, our list price is going to be $250, $260. Guess what? Everything is still fine because we already planned for the worst when it comes to fix and flip.
Yeah, and the important part in that too is that you're not overinflating what your ARV is.
Yes.
You already know what you're going to be able to sell it for. So I don't want like anybody to get mistaken with feeling like, oh, okay, well, because I went over in my rehab budget, now I'm going to sell it for this amount. Yeah. And then it's like you mentioned earlier, then it's just on the market for forever, and that doesn't do anybody any favors.
Yeah, and then you start getting these calls. Yeah, hello, my name is John from California. It seemed like your house been on the market for 300 days. Is everything okay? You have an issue selling it? Well, I want to make an offer right now, $100,000 below what you're asking for, just so I can get it off your hand. Hello? You done hung up, right?
Yeah.
So you want to avoid those phone calls when you don't list the property correct, okay?
Something else is in our course, we're talking about different exit strategies too. So being able to pivot, learning how to pivot, knowing what other options you have for when things go south or don't go as planned. I think that's really important.
Yeah. So Sidni, in closing, for the millions of people who's watching, who's listening, can you give us a lasting remark to help that young man, that young woman who's watching right now, who don't know where to start or where to begin, and who needs some guidance? What would you say to them?
I would say that tackling anything new or getting into anything new is definitely going to be scary. And part of that fear and that natural instinct that wants to keep you safe, that's good. That's going to protect you from a lot of things. It's going to protect you from making mistakes. But there's a healthy boundary there, and not letting that keep you stagnant, which is something that I had to get over too. Definitely jump into it. And when I say jump into it in the right way. Definitely plug yourself into a community, whether that's Yes to Real Estate, whether it's at FlipCo, between the 2 of us, so whatever the case is, there's like there's something out there for you. There's people out there that are going to connect with you and vibe with you, and you will exceed. Don't try to do it on your own either. And be okay with making mistakes. You got to be okay with making mistakes. Something that my VP just told to me yesterday actually was, you're not doing it right if you're not making mistakes. Like, get out there and learn. And that's what I love about our company, is that we're so empowered to go out there and experiment and to help grow and build. So I definitely hope that we are the right family for you with the Yes to Real Estate community. And it's so welcoming, and we're so ready to receive you guys and help you guys grow.
Awesome. Also, Sidni, for the millions of people who's watching and listening, how can I find out more about Sidni?
Of course. You guys can follow me everywhere at Building Real Estate Empires. My name is Sidni Campbell. So you can find me on Building Real Estate Empires. You can also connect with Andre, who can make sure you find me as well. Yeah. I'm a super fan of the Yes to Real Estate community, so you'll find me at the events also. But Yes to Real Estate. Oh, you guys can also look at flipco.info/Sidni Flips. My name is spelled weird. It's flipco.info/SIDNI Flips. Can never find my name on the keychains at the airport. But that's okay. If somebody wants to make me a custom one, I'm here for it.
Yes. And also, I would like to say, when we're talking about FlipCo, I'm talking about FlipCo. This is someone that I use personally. The Yes to Real Estate company family use FlipCo for their flips. We don't use anyone else, and we only use them because of the opportunity to get in the game. And I realized when I first got started, that was the hardest part, was getting in, because no one wanted to give me a chance with no experience. And FlipCo gave us an opportunity. So if you're out there and you're looking to get into your first flip and you're looking for hard money, look no further than FlipCo Financial. I am a witness that they are great at what they do. They have one of the best here with Sidni, and they can finance your flip.
Come check out the first class hard money lending experience.
Yes. So for the millions of people who are watching and listening, Sidni, thank you so much for joining the Yes to Real Estate podcast today.
Of course. Thank you.
So,
Mama, I made it.
Yes, we made it. So for the millions of people who's watching and listening, thank you for saying yes to your fix and flip. What is stopping you for going to the next level? You have heard a word, a testament from one of the best in the business, Sidni Campbell. So the question now is, what's stopping you for going to the next level? You've been waiting on a sign. You've been waiting to hear from the Lord, what the Lord has spoken through his vessel, Sidni. So today is your day to do your first fix and flip. Get in the room, get mentorship. People who pay attention. Get in the room with some of the best who does it. Thank you for saying yes to your season. You've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Well, the wait is over. You have all the intellectual property you need to get started. And we challenge you today to get started on your next level. Thank you for saying yes to FlipCo, one of the best that does it in this rehab community, who will finance your deal within 48 hours.
48 hours.
I'm testament. They have done it over and over and over again, right? Thank you for saying yes to love. Thank you for saying yes to community. Sidni and I is here today because of community. What is going to stop you from going to the next level? Nothing. And thank you for saying yes to real estate. See you at the top.
Oh my gosh, wait, come on.
Yeah.
You weren't going to let me say it?
Yeah, okay. Thank you. And thank you for saying yes to real estate.
See you at the top. Look, I've been waiting for this my entire Yes to Real Estate life. I was like, hold on, you're not going to let me say it?
Yes.
The answers that you need are on the way.
Hey,
y'all just have the outro going on.